Hello. So the Book of Five Rings by Miyamoto Musashi, who was a philosopher, a swordsman, a ronin, and a writer. He wrote the book after his successful career, life, as you put it, as you could put it, as a samurai and a ronin, um, and all of the successful duels and making it to pretty old age for a warrior, especially. Um, the Book of Five Rings is a book about sword fighting. It's mainly written for sword fighting, techniques on sword fighting, and methodologies to fight. But it's also considered a philosophy book and can be used for other things. It applies to multiple things. The book is well written. It's a collection of books. That's why it's called the Book of Five Rings. It has 5 books in it, and there are many things in the book that apply to real life. Reoccurring theme that he shows in the book is the idea of action. You always want to act upon the target or enemy, however you want to look at it, being vulnerable and attacking when there's an opening, or taking advantage of the opportunity. If you're looking at it as a philosophical book, but that's one of the reoccurring themes he goes over and over again. And then there's the idea of the thought, no thought. He thought, no concept. He states that you need to have a conscious, a mind that's not conscious, but you're still conscious. You're not thinking, but you're reacting. Even if there's nothing to react to, you're just doing. You're acting. Like I said, you need to act. There needs to be action. That's the reoccurring theme that is in the book. You can't think, you just need to do. It reminded me of that scene in The Last Samurai when he's sparring and he's doing judo. That when he was sparring, the guy said, "In no mind, you can't have any mind." Well, that's true in fighting, and especially in anything really. You can't have any mind. You can just react. You know, and more than just fighting, I think in relatively most sports, especially when you're doing like gymnastics, you're doing a routine. You can't be thinking about, oh, I'm gonna do 3 flips, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. It's in your mind, but you're actually not like wording thoughts, if that makes sense. It's fast. It's like that is gonna happen. You're just doing it. You're not thinking about how you're gonna do it or when you're gonna do it. It just happens, and then hopefully through your training it shows and you actually do it. I mean, especially in the performing arts, when you're acting or you're singing or you're doing a show of some sort, a stunt, if you will, like skateboarding. You trust in your training, you trust in your practice, and you just do it. This isn't a book on just training. Like I said, it's a book on philosophy too. You can train, but you need to have the mindset to be able to actually do what you trained for. You need to perform. That's at the end of the day, you need to perform. And if you're just thinking about it 24/7, it's not going to happen. You're thinking too much. You need to be able to enter that state of no thought. Another thing that I think applies to life, and that he's put in the book. I'm looking at my notes. Is you don't want to fixate your eye on one thing. You don't want to be closed-minded. You want to be open-minded. He even states that in the book when studying martial arts. You need to be open-minded. You need to have your eyes open, not focused on one thing. You can't be focused on one thing, because if you're focused on one thing, then it's going to show. The enemy or the target's going to know. And if you're focused on that one thing, it's going to leave you vulnerable, because you're not focusing on everything when you really should be, like, not focused, but, you know, just open. You see it all, you know. You're not just looking like, you know, because, and I'll give a real life example. In baseball, I was batting, and you know, they do, the coach, they'll do like all this crap, you know, to just to show what they're what to give us a signal what to do, what the base runner's gonna do, and what the batter should do. And the other team's like, oh man, what are they doing? But you know, I knew what he was gonna do, and the sign was to steal for the first baseman, the first guy on first base to steal, not the first baseman. What kind of baseball game is that? But the guy on first base to steal, and my eyes gave it away. I knew he was gonna steal, and I was you know, getting ready to hit, and the pitcher was getting ready to throw, and I was looking at him, and then I looked at the guy on first base, and I looked back at him, and once I did that, he already knew that the guy was going to try to steal. He picked him off, the guy got out, and I felt guilty, because it really was my fault. I gave it away when I should have been just focused on me batting, not the whole scenario. Well, yes, focus on the whole scenario, but my eyes not fixated on the scenario, which is what gave it away. I was vulnerable.